So what I thought I'd do today is go through some of October's YA releases. There were some incredible releases that came out in October. Some of my favourite books of the year came out in October, so I thought I'd go through them all and let you know a little bit more about them. Now, if we're going to talk about October's releases, and in particular my favourites, then it will come as no surprise to most of you who know me or who have been following my social media that this first book is at the top of that list, and that is Iron Widow. Now, this was the feminist sci-fi book of my dreams that I didn't know I was waiting for. It is absolutely incredible, from the world building and the themes within this book to the cover. I love absolutely everything about it. Now, this is described as The Handmaid's Tale meets Pacific Rim in a reimagining of China's only female emperor. And oh my god, from the contents to the cover of this book, I am obsessed. It flips so many things on its head. It takes the traditional YA love triangle trope and turns that into a wonderful polyamorous relationship. The female protagonist in this is incredible, going up against a government, the corrupt systems to smash the patriarchy, working not only against the government and the laws, but the traditions that families and individuals put on themselves and how they allow corrupt systems to remain. The plot of this book is to die for, and the characters' development throughout this book are incredible. This plays on the idea of the boys within this world being held up on a pedestal and given celebrity status within a war, whereas the females are basically just left to sacrifice themselves to the war effort. If they help, they will die, is the concept of this book, and it is beautifully done. This is honestly one of the most wonderful books I've read in a really long time, and despite being a die-hard fantasy lover, this may be my favourite book of the year. Now, I know we've only just got into the start of November, but I honestly adore this book. The themes in it are deep, it's beautifully executed, the storyline gets you hooked from page one, and that's no exaggeration. The characters are incredible. I wish to be as badass as some of the characters in this book. It's so good, the concept's unique. Honestly, if you haven't heard about this book or seen it yet, give it a try, because I promise you won't be disappointed. Now, I don't think that the next book on my list will be a surprise either. Now, I'm not going to go into as much detail with this one because I have mentioned it in my October Reads video, so if you want to click on the link that I'll leave down below, you can find out more information on this book, but that is The Undying Tower. Now, this is one of the best YA dystopian novels I have read in a very long time. It is incredible. It flips some of the most common used dystopian tropes on its head. The people you would think are in power should be in power, the Undying, who are near enough impossible to kill and don't age or die naturally, are actually the outcasts. This is set in a world where resources are short, and therefore people who cannot die are blamed for using up all of these resources. So they're outcast and treat appallingly, and this book explores that. It's the first in a series, a trilogy, and it came out I think on the 7th of October, but if you're looking for a dystopian, this is it. It's incredible. It's reunited me with my love for dystopian books. So definitely check this one out as well. Now, I was really lucky to get a proof of this book a couple of months back, and at the time I was blown away not only by the story but by the illustrations in this book. In fact, I loved it so much I went out and bought a finished copy the second it came out. So this is Jessie Burton's new YA release, and it's called Medusa. So it's all about the girl behind the myth. So this is a feminist retelling of the myth of Medusa. Now, not only is this an incredible retelling that brings the female voice back to the forefront of a myth that we all know and love, it's gorgeously illustrated. So from the cover to the hidden cover and the contents within, this book is absolutely to die for. It would make an incredible Christmas present, just saying, if you're struggling to look for Christmas presents. This book is beautiful and explores consent, the female narrative, and so much more in such a beautiful way, and I highly recommend it. So if you haven't, check it out. So the next book on my list of releases in October that I am obsessed with is something I don't think I've talked about on social media as much, but I must admit, when this came out on release day, I bought it, I got it home, and I finished it that night. I couldn't put it down. Now, I had a feeling something like that was going to happen because this author's writing always hooks me in and doesn't let go. And the author in question is Stephanie Garber, and obviously the book in question is Once Upon a Broken Heart. This is incredible. So this follows two main characters, but was inspired by the character of Jax, who is the Prince of Hearts. He is a character who's kind of a side character in her previous series. Now, that being said, you don't have to read her previous books to be able to enjoy this at all in any way. But I am so glad that Jax has finally got a series of his own because I adore him as a character. He's funny, he's morally grey, it's an incredible romance book that is going to take your heart on a roller coaster. So the tagline for this book is, how far would you go for a happily ever after? And the premise is that our main character thinks she's in love and has found the love of her life, who is about to be married off to her sister. Awkward. So she goes in search of the Prince of Hearts to make a deal to save her love. And things kind of go off on go off on a spiral from there. This book is incredible. As usual, it's beautifully lyrical, the writing. The fairy tale elements in this are exquisite, and it's a gorgeous book. And the last book I'm going to talk about, I personally haven't read yet, but it only came out at the end of October, and in my defence I have a good reason for not reading it. Otherwise I would have read this the second it came out. It is actually my online YA book club's pick for November, so I will be starting this very shortly, and I can't wait, and that is Little Thieves. Now, I love Margaret Owen's writing. I adore it. There's not a book she has written that I do not love, so I'm very excited for this. This is a reimagining of The Goose Girl. This follows our main character, who is a wicked maid, who who stole her princess's face, and with that her betrothed, her kingdom and everything that came with it. This book is a fairy tale retelling from the side of the villain, and I am so here for that. There's gods involved in this, which I can't wait for. The cover of this is beautiful, if you want to take a second to admire it. I don't know what's happening in book cover land right now, but the covers that are coming out lately are to die for. They're just so pretty that I can't wait to see what comes out next year. Anyway, this book is going to be read by me very shortly, and I'm sure I'm going to love it. Of course, I will let you know how I feel about it once I've read it, but I don't want to give too much away with it being the book club book pick. Now, if you do want to get involved in the online book club, you can either send me a message or email me, and we can organise that for you as well. And that is it. So they are some of the books I have most enjoyed that came out in October, or I'm most excited for. They are all incredible reads, and I will leave links to them down below. So if you do want to support the Rabbit Hole Bookshop where I work, I will leave the bookshop.org link for our shop down there, and you can support us in that way. Or, as always, if you want to come in and chat about anything YA, please pop into the shop and come and chat to me. But if you have any other questions, you're more than welcome to message me, and I will see you next time. Bye!